Good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to In the View. It's your Wednesday afternoon interactive talk program right here on 102.7, 1300 AM. Yes, we're simulcasting, as well as you can catch us on Facebook, as well as the live stream. Live stream, go to tvcarib.com, and you're able to see the faces behind the conversation. Okay, folks, welcome those of you who are doing the ride home or maybe heading out to work, whichever way, since this is drive time. Good to have you, and hopefully you can benefit a little or at least be informed of what is happening in our neck of the woods. Mr. Roy Cotton Jr., he is my guest today, and of course, we'll be talking to him about the 19th celebration of love and inspiration. If you don't know, he comes on sometimes on sometime. I don't know the exact time. Is it 3 o'clock or whatever? Every Sunday afternoon, right here on this station, and well, by extension, throughout the world. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Cotton, and good to have you in.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Wendell Moore. This is the first time I'm on your show for 2026.
But it's only the second month.
Well, I can still say to you, it's the first time, and I can also say Happy New Year to you and to your listeners of this radio show. It's a pleasure to be here on In the View.
Yeah. Well, good to have you.
Thank you.
Let's start where this all began, because it seems like one of the message coming out of today is we must never, ever limit or reach or limit ourselves. And I would want to add as well that because of the extension of technology nowadays, it makes a lot of things make you more global than you really are you in a one spot area. So this whole love and inspiration actually started in England. Why don't you just fill us in, for those who don't know, as to how this thing really started, the story behind it.
Okay, thank you so much, Wendell, and good afternoon to your listeners right now driving home or those who are viewing us right now live online. A pleasure to be here once again. So, love and inspiration, a powerful name, building stronger relationships and inspiring lives. Love and inspiration started back in 2007 on the 11th of February, back in the UK. When I was a student at the University of Hertfordshire, and Hertfordshire is is a county just outside of London, in a small town, and I actually lived in England for 8 years,
Okay.
so from between 2002 to 2010. And at the University of Hertfordshire, a very vibrant university, there are over 23,000 students. And the opportunity came due to the fact that I've always been on radio for many years. Started off my radio career back in 1994 here on this very voice of St.Maarten. And when I was in the UK, I took a little break from radio, and I said, I do want to go back to radio because it's my passion, you know. And then sometime in the early part of 2007, while just having a quiet time in my room, I was saying to myself, what can I do? What sort of radio show can I start again to really empower people, bring great music? And then I heard in my spirit, like God speaking to me, like, and said the name Love and Inspiration. I said, Love and Inspiration. And I thought to myself, well, I know I'm always looking out for relationships to be the best that God has wanted them to be, has created them to be, whether work relationships, whether family or marriage. And I said, inspiration. Persons are always looking for inspiration in some shape and form, because as long as I know myself, I've always been a person who inspire persons, always ready to motivate persons. And even self at university, so many students would come up and speak with me, including international students, because at that time I was the president, three-time elect president for the International Students Association, which was responsible for over 5,000 international students at the university. And when persons would meet me, they would always confide in me and feel comfortable to speak with me. So I said, since I'm a person who inspires persons and persons who, find confidence as a confidant in me, and I really want to see relationships move in a specific way, I can relate to what God is speaking to me about and having this show called Love and Inspiration. And because of the fact, actually, I had already changed my course, my major, to counseling and psychology, because previous to that, I was studying midwifery at a university in England. I said, hey, this fits pretty well. So I went straight into approaching the student board, which is the association at the university. And I said, I recognize you have a radio station here on campus, because they had a TV station and radio station at the university. And I said, do you have any openings for any radio show? And they said, yes, we do. And then I said, okay. And I thought to myself, what would be a good day to do a radio show? And then I remembered, oh yes, Roy, back in St.Maarten, back in your early years, 1994 to 1996, you used to be on PJ83 102.7 FM on Sunday nights with the Sunday Night Grooves from 9 until about 12. And persons are normally relaxing on a Sunday evening, just want to hear something cool. And now here you would come with something inspiring. So I said, you know what? I'm going to propose Sunday evenings UK time from 7 to 9 p.m. And that slot was open. And it was history. The Student Association stated, you can have the slot on Crush Radio. That's an AM dial, but also online. And then I kicked off from 7 until 9 p.m. And it was a perfect time because university students would be at the library studying, at home doing their coursework, and just relaxing, wanting to hear someone speaking some great inspiration into their minds and their hearts while they're studying some great music. And then it expanded across, it was online, and I started getting listeners in Holland and France, etc. And that's how Love and Inspiration kicked off in 2007 back in the UK.
So the transition will feel smooth, you say?
Very much so. And, to tell you the truth, it's so important when you just take some time to listen to what God is saying to you. And He opens really great doors for you, more than you can ever imagine. Because I never knew where it was going to go with Love and Inspiration. And at that same time, I had Love and Inspiration as the flagship show. And then I introduced another radio show, which was called Student Vibes. And then a TV show, which was called International Image. But we can talk about that the next time. So I was also on TV. But going back to Love and Inspiration, when I started off, I said, I have to make this meaningful to reach young people, reach whoever's listening, so that their hearts can be changed and that they can come to a point of realizing how important relationships are and how we should actually carry ourselves and relate to each other the way God would want us to, but not being in a way like I'm in your face and I'm preaching to you like thou should do this and thou should do that, but a really nice, cool mixture that actually really had the pulling power of persons to tune in.
You keep saying God, 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 God.
Yes.
Several times.
Right.
So then this is supposed to be something spiritual, or how does this come across? What do people get when they listen to Love and Inspiration? I could imagine that you've changed over years somewhat, maybe to go along with the times, but what would be the essence of what you give on Love and Inspiration?
I love your question, Wendell. I would say this: Love and Inspiration is really a platform that really brings persons to understand in a very beautiful way really where God wants to take you. So it has a spiritual element to it, but at the same time it's a unique dance between the spiritual aspect and just meeting you where you at as a listener. So I'm not here to impose anything on anyone, but at the end of the day, once you're able to listen, you'll be able to, in your heart, know where you would want to go or where you're being led to. But at the same time, it's a beautiful combination of really great music that people enjoy.
Sounds like you're saying, if I'm right, correct me, but if I'm wrong, correct me. It's not judgmental, but as to where you are, there can be an inspiration to draw you closer to God.
Yes, there's an open invitation in a wonderful way for persons to really evaluate where they are in life, and also at the same time, we have to always ask ourselves specific and important questions of where we are in life, where do we want to go, what's my purpose here, and with a show as powerful as Love and Inspiration that really focuses on building stronger relationships, but also at the same time inspiring people through the content that I share, and also from time to time the guests that I have on the show. It's a beautiful dance, as I would say. It's a beautiful combination, and just really, again, meeting persons where they're at in their age groups, because I do have listeners who are young people up to persons who are seasoned in life who listens to Love and Inspiration. I've had from time to time persons who are age 18, even 17, come up and say, I love what you do on the show. I've even had a young man he's now 21, and he says, Mr. Roy, I listen to you on a Sunday, and I just love what you say. I love your vibes. I love what you share. It's got me thinking sometimes. I definitely want to be on your show, and he's going to be on my show this year. I've got persons who are in their 90s that listen to Love and Inspiration. I just had, as a family friend, she's going to be 91 this year, and I'm sure she's listening right now, Miss Brown. And she said to me, Roy, you were really born for this. I was listening to you do an interview, and I was just saying to myself, he's really good. That guy is really good. The way how you would have never known that he may have known the individual, but the way how you've conducted that interview is like you're meeting this person for the first time. And she's 91. She's going to be turning 91, and she enjoys the show. I've had guests on the show, even 90 years old, from over in Antigua, Grandma Marie. So it's a show that reaches each and every one.
Each and every one. I know there is some connection, maybe you can explain this, with a work that I believe you and your spouse were somewhere involved with young people. Is there anything in the overview of where you're going with Love and Inspiration and what you're accomplishing? Is there anything that also touches, you're talking about 91 and probably plus, but what about the youth?
Yes, well, with that being said, Love and Inspiration is an open door to young people. I've had young persons come on my show, and like how I mentioned, there are young persons who do approach me in a society and do say that they are tuned in. And I've stated that, Love and Inspiration is really absolutely a platform for persons to be able to inspire others. In terms of the work that I do with my wife, Victoria's Living Foundation, we really focus on the transformation of people's lives through our evidence-based counseling and therapy, coaching in terms of when it comes to personal coaching, when it comes to premarital counseling, marriage counseling, working with couples, including even self-retreats for corporate clients, retreats for married couples, etc. And the list goes on. We do also focus too on young people because, youngsters do have the challenges in life, and we do work with young people and really help them to get on the right path. Not going all into the other aspects of work, but you may know that my wife, over the period of years, had the mentorship program through Victoria's Living Foundation that was very successful and changed quite a bit of lives of young people. And even when I used to work at the court of guardianship, and having to deal with youngsters who got themselves in trouble with the law, that was an aspect of the mentorship program that really helped persons. When part of my writing to my reports for the public prosecutor to present to the judge would entail also to having youngsters be enrolled in the mentorship program instead of having them incarcerated, because it doesn't help a young person to be behind bars. But if you can help them to find their way, find themselves, then we help to have another person who can contribute to society. So in terms of working with young people, that is always been there and still is. Having a heart for young persons. And as a matter of fact, talking about it just recently on Saturday, I was invited by the Cricket Association, Cricket St.Maarten, to give a motivational talk to 20 youngsters, young men ages 10 to 21, actually at the cricket stadium there over at the cost you less, and it was really rewarding to be there among the youngsters, because even self on Sunday, a few of them was to travel to Anguilla to play a game against those in Anguilla, in cricket. And actually, the good news was that I received from one of the persons a part of the Cricket Association board, mentioned the good news that actually the guys from St.Maarten won. So that really made me feel so elated to know that just prior to them going over to Anguilla, they were geared up to go and do this game, and that they won. And for me, just being even self in their presence on Saturday, and of course, you're dealing with young people where they have their little moments and attitudes and so forth. But to be there and to speak into the lives of these young men were very important. And this was not the first time that the Cricket Association called me to speak with youngsters. I did that a few years back at the Weifel building. So it was really a pleasure to be there and to really actually ask them the question. And it was really powerful when I spoke with them, because I told them about three things that are non-negotiables, and that is to show up, speak up, and step up. So the non-negotiable number one, to show up, is to show up with determination, show up with discipline. And I gave them an example like Dr. Sir Curtly Ambrose, that he showed up with discipline, determination. That's the foundation of success. And if you want to be successful and you want to be a St.Maarten cricket ambassador, then you've got to show up, first of all, with discipline, show up with determination, and stick to what's important so you can be successful. The next one was to speak up. And I gave them an example of Casey Carty. Casey Carty spoke up with the right attitude, stayed focused, knew what he was all about. And I gave them an example that even at that time, like I saw on their faces that were quite surprised when I said, you would not believe it, but Casey Carty was my student at the University of St. Maarten, because I was an instructor at USM between 2010 to 2015. And I remember when I told them this, I remember when Casey Carty came into my class, and I was asking the students during that time, what is it that you really want to do after you've left University of St. Maarten to pursue your further studies? And he said to me, Mr. Cotton, I would like to become a professional cricketer. And I said, wow, powerful, Casey. And I asked him, have you spoken to any persons about this? And he said, he shared that with other persons, but there were persons who laughed at him and said, well, yeah, boy, what are you going to be doing now? You're not going to get paid. Well, where's Casey Carty today? Because he believed in himself and he had the right attitude. So I said that to the boys on Saturday. You have to speak up with the right attitude. And I gave them some other names, Michael Palmer. And Michael Palmer was there himself. Also, Devanon Singh was there. And a few others. So that's an example of speaking into the lives of young people. And that was so rewarding to be able there, A Saturday afternoon, normally I would be at the airport enjoying my pastime, watching my airplanes, because I'm an airplane spotter. However, this was more important than watching airplanes on Saturday.
You mean to have the opportunity
to speak? The opportunity to speak into the lives of these young cricketers.
I guess. Well, so where do you get your inspiration? Where are you guided to be able to inspire others? What is your resource?
My resource is whom I have actually stated quite a few times at the beginning of the interview, and that is my Almighty Father in heaven, our Creator, God.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'm speaking with Mr. Roy Cotton Jr. He is the pioneer behind Love and Inspiration, and of course he's celebrating 19 years that he's been doing this. Mind you, it didn't start, but to some degree he started his entertainment career as far as radio is concerned on St. Maarten, but the Love and Inspiration part actually started overseas. How important it is for you to make this what you call a global outreach, because the thing is, we tend to limit everything that we hear to our immediate surroundings. And this program, a lot of people wouldn't even realize that the reach is far extended. I mean, it's nighttime now in Europe, and I know there are folks who listen to the show and would hang around even then, just before going to bed, to determine, let's see what the talk is in the afternoon in terms of the interactive move, And likewise at 12, when it's like 4, 5 in the afternoon, it's time now for them to get their last shot at dinner, and then the nighttime. We often don't think that we have that far outreach. If you're making this a global phenomena, what is the purpose behind that?
The purpose behind that is to reach as many people as possible with love and inspiration. People need love today. We're all crying out. Most people are crying out for love and inspiration. As I've always said, I've never heard anyone say to me, please stop loving me. I had enough of love. Please hate me today. I've never had anyone say, stop showering me with inspiration. I just want to be demotivated. Please demotivate me right now. Persons always are looking for love, and persons are always looking for inspiration. So it's so fitting. And if I've got the opportunity to continue on a Sunday to pour love and inspiration into your heart and your soul and your mind, why not do it?
It's so fitting that you mentioned that no one usually asks to be stop loved or stop being loved. Well, you know what you've said. But what if somebody's back is up against the wall? Usually, some of them would be thinking, you know what, I want to stop this world and get off because the pressure's too much, or such as what they are dealing with, they can't, go any further. Are they looking for love and inspiration too?
Believe you me.
Or is that fertile grounds for love and inspiration?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, many of us have had our backs up against the wall. I know myself have had my back up against the wall. I know when you're really in tight corners. I know when you feel like there's nothing else to go on for. I mean, to be honest with you, look, if you could be a fly on the wall in my house, you would understand very well that what you see right here is the real deal. And for everyone who's listening right now, Roy Cotton Jr. here, just like you in your car, just like you listening to me on the internet, I too have my challenges sometimes. I too feel like giving up. I too, sometimes when I'm having a conversation with my wife, when we're just sitting down quietly, I'm saying like, hun, you know what? It is not even worth doing this or doing the other. You know what? What's the point? Even self, there was a moment some time back when I wanted to give up love and inspiration. And my wife, Nicole, Dr. Nicole and May Francis Cotton, she said, Han, if there's anything that I'm going to tell you not to give up is love and inspiration. You may have your other shows, which are pretty good, but do not give it up. And exactly is why love and inspiration is still here. And I'm very thankful that I listened to my wife. And it's a very important message. Men out there,
listen to your wives. Listen. What do you make then of when you get to that point? What is happening? You must be able to, at this stage of your life, figure out what possibly could have been happening when you get to that place where even you wanting to give up. What do you think is happening there?
What is happening is that life becomes too much. What's happening there is that you are among persons who make it their business to be nasty to you, persons who make it their business to be envious, persons who make it a business, like how I've said before, is like you have persons who would, before they go to bed, they will sit down and say, how can I make his or her life really terrible tomorrow? I'll do it that way. So at the end of the day, the reality is unfortunately, this is the world that we're in, a falling world, and there are challenges that we will all face, and we're all human, and I'm human myself. But one of the important things that I can always draw back on is that once you have God in your life, He always, as He's promised, will never leave you or forsake you. And He always puts someone in your life that would actually help you along those lines. And He has put a wonderful wife in my life that is there with me all the way through. And even though I may be a counselor myself, even though I may know how to speak with persons and take them through challenging times during therapy, etc., you still need someone by your side. Like I always say, right? You may be a doctor, but a doctor still have to go to a doctor. You may be a dentist, but a dentist have to go to the next dentist. You may be a pilot, but you have to fly in a plane with a pilot flying you.
Okay, I want you to talk a little bit about your career.
Yes.
I mean, your educational journey,
Right.
because there must be something there that would support what you're doing
Hmm.
today. But before I go there, I want to go back to something you just
Yes.
said. This
Tell
is
me.
a strange place for anybody who is about to go to sleep, for them to devise an evil plan as to how they can make one's life miserable, isn't it?
Very true. It is. But persons make it their business, especially when they allow themselves to be led by the enemy of our souls rather than be led by the lover of our souls. So that's what they would allow themselves, unfortunately, to do. And that's why it's important to pray for such persons, because at the end of the day, when you do such, there's one thing that is unfortunate and a guarantee, I guess, and that is karma. Karma visits us anytime. It is no There's no respect of creed, color, race, culture. When karma shows up, karma shows up. So it's very important not to allow karma to show up, but to be kind and wonderful to people the way God has asked you to.
You call it karma, but I would rather use a biblical term that says what you sow
It's what you reap.
is what you reap.
Yes.
All right.
There we go.
We're at a place where we might as well take the break here.
Sounds good.
And when we come back, I want you to talk a little bit about your journey there in terms of your experience that kept you aligned to be able to be connected to love and inspiration
Sure.
today. And yeah, let's make sense of it
Okay,
and
sounds
make
good.
us smarter.
Thank you.
All right, folks, this is In the View with yours truly, Wendell Moore, my Wednesday afternoon interactive talk program right here. Roy Cotton Jr. is my guest. He is from Love and Inspiration. We'll take a quick break, though, and then we'll come right back to a conversation. Okay, folks, welcome back to our conversation with Roy Cotton Jr. Roy Cotton RC. Well, that's one of the short form that he's known for on his radio show, RC. DJ RC?
That's right.
Oh, I think that's what it
That's
was.
correct.
All right, good to have you, man.
Thank you so
And
much.
to learn a little bit about what you're doing
Thank you.
and where the inspiration for Love and Inspiration came from. I know that you are now doing a lot of stuff as far as helping folks with their relationships as well.
Correct.
And it all started in England. I think you were also recognized. You want to speak a little bit about that in terms of
Yeah.
nomination for award and so on? Oh,
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Wendell. And I give God thanks for this opportunity. And back then, back in 2008, the university actually, and it's every year, the universities that have a radio station normally host a National Student Radio Awards. And the stations that have presenters, they would have the presenters send in their program, and then that will be sent to BBC Radio 1 in London. And in 2008, I received 3 nominations actually with Love and Inspiration through BBC Radio 1. And the 3 categories were Best Male Presenter, Best Interview, and Best Entertainment. So I always say, actually, if I won one of those categories, then what would have happened, Wendell, is that you would have been doing a long distance call with me now, because I would have been a presenter on BBC Radio 1 in London. So we would have done not so close like this. I would have to give you books virtually. But those were actually the 3 nominations I received. And when I received those nominations, I was like, I was so blown away, because, you know, here comes a surprise. I was obedient to the call of Love and Inspiration, and that door was open for me. And that really empowered me to continue the show, because recognizing if BBC Radio 1 could have given me 3 nominations, that really means I'm doing something powerful. And I do want to also take this opportunity to really say thank you to Mr. Don Hughes for the opportunity back in 1994, when my father approached him, Roy Cotton Sr., and said, you know, my boy, you know, he likes radio and music and so forth, to give him an opportunity. And Mr. Don, you know, gave me the opportunity to come in, did the voice test, and it was history. And that's how I started right here, home base. And I give thanks to my father, Roy Cotton Sr., also to Mr. Don Hughes from the Voice of St.Maarten. And at this point in time, I want to thank all my listeners and supporters over the years of Love and Inspiration, including one person who definitely listens consistently on a Sunday. And that is my father-in-law, Mr. Oswald Francis. And for sure, a person who takes good care of me before I get onto the show, which a lot of persons are always asking, even before I leave church, what is your Sunday lunch day? What has your wife cooked for you? Or what is your wife going to be cooking for you? Because normally when I start the show, I would say, my lovely wife has cooked so and so for me today. And people are just texting and want to know, what was the food that you received today in your belly?
What was the food you cooked today? You ate today?
What I ate today? That's always the question on a Sunday. What was your
Oh,
lunch?
so it's not on Wednesday. So no cooking on Monday,
Oh,
Tuesday,
well,
Wednesday.
well, yeah, there's
Those-
things that happen during the week, but most people are wanting to know what she cooked for me on Sunday and what
Okay.
sort of dish she
Let's
made
leave
for
it
me.
for Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. So they'll know this Sunday because I'm back live.
So what about the base that you were
Yes.
able to build from London then? You must have, well, the program began reaching outward from the university on campus to England and then by extension to all of the countries that were listening in Europe and the Caribbean too as well. You must have had a base when you started. Are you still in connection with those people?
Yes, I am. Definitely, yes, I am. Persons who are still in the UK, persons who are in the Netherlands, France, various other countries, they are still in touch with me. And I also, at the same time, have to say this: I am very grateful to my two co-hosts back in 2009 to 2010. And persons wouldn't believe this, but or would think, okay, I'm always hearing Roy. Was it always Roy by himself? Well, back in 2008, no, 2009 to 2010, back in England, one of my co-hosts was Julius Romeo, and he's from Kenya. So he also attended university at Hertfordshire. And we had a wonderful time on the show. Really good laughs. It was really vibrant. It was amazing to have a co-host, and he was with me for a little time. And then after him, I had a female co-host, and her name was Nina. And Nina was from Iran, and she really
Iran,
enjoyed
of all places. Huh?
Iran, yeah, Iran, because you know, at the university you get so many international students. So I enjoyed the time having my co-host from Kenya, Julius, and my co-host from Iran, Nina. And I just want to say thank you to both of them for being a co-host of Love and Inspiration.
What was asked of you on either of your co-hosts or anyone else who learned that you were from St.Maarten? What was their curiosity?
They were quite happy. They were quite curious, like, you know, not being to St. Maarten, to the Caribbean. I was actually I should have started working for the tourist bureau back then because I was really promoting St. Maarten like, real ambassador.
Did they know of it?
They knew of St. Maarten, but not really had someone really from St. Maarten in their midst. And I was quite surprised. You know, quite a bit of my friends who were studying aerospace engineering would say to me, "Hey, wait, you're from St. Maarten? That's where the planes land over your head?" And they would show me the YouTube, and they say, "Yeah, look at that." I say, "Yeah, exactly." So it was nice to be around international persons who really appreciated me being from St. Maarten, and it was a lovely way to promote the island.
You do feature a lot of topics and people from St. Maarten, but you think it's fair if folks would, or the audience would understand that your reach is not just limited to St. Maarten.
Correct.
So when you decide on what you'll be inspiring folks with, and of course you coupled your lines along with interviews and music, what you want people to understand when you're doing what you're doing, and some of it may not necessarily relate to our local proximity.
Well, you know, it's a really good question you've asked, but I will say this to you, Wendell. When I set out to do Love and Inspiration, I really strategically look at how I will impact persons' lives. So I recognize that all of us are important, whether we're local, regional, or international. So I go to the extent to bring people quality. People deserve to hear quality radio. People don't want to hear microwave music. You put it in there. They want well-cooked music. People want to hear educational, informative, high-level talk. that will actually elevate them, take them to another place, a new level in their lives. So I strategically and intentionally look at having persons on the show that will bring value to my listeners' lives. So that would rather be a person who's local, with regional, international, and it's a beautiful mix because persons that they may not necessarily get to hear that easily, that is international, they are on Love and Inspiration. Persons that they may not get to hear easily, that are regional, they're on Love and Inspiration. And of course, you have access to persons who are local. And I just love to give that wonderful platform to individuals from those regions.
I guess I wanted to know what's in your mind as you're doing the program, knowing that your reach is far beyond St.
In
Maarten.
in my mind is inspiration and transformation. That's in my mind, and really managing what God has given me. Because I've said this before on my show, and I'll say it here: before I start my show on a Sunday, from even in the morning, I'm already saying to God, Lord, today's another Sunday. I'm going to have love and inspiration later. I am dedicating this show to you. May you guide me. May it be a show with no glitches. May it be a show that would reach your people, because I'm managing the show for you.
Well, I guess it can be easy if you um, have found out over time that most of the issues, what depresses us and have us in a place where we really need to be inspired to move forward and to do positive things, is something that is experienced just about everywhere. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And that's why a show like this on a Sunday, when persons are getting prepared for a brand new week to potentially face whatever new challenge in the new week, or may have gone through a week that was heavy loaded, this is where it really meets you where you're at on a Sunday afternoon. And it is really, I would say, it is a sacrifice when you look at the fact that on a Sunday afternoon, but it's a good sacrifice, but also at the same time, one has to take into account that there should be also a balance. And that's why from time to time, I also take some time off, because on a Sunday afternoon, really coming to the studio from 3 to 5 p.m. live is really sacrificing your Sunday. Not everyone wants to sacrifice a Sunday afternoon, because when I finish church, I want to go home. I want to, like I was in Antigua, I want to yam, a food and sit with my wife. But then I'm preparing and I leave my wife's side and I come here and I am serving the public for 2 hours, and then I have to edit my show. And then by the time I get home on a Sunday evening, it's going to 6 o'clock, 6:30. And then what's left? So it is sacrificial, but it's also for a good reason. And I've done it over the years, and sometimes you just need to take a break. And that's why, I took a break this time, a longer break, and made sure that my folks, my listeners, were taken care of by listening to the rebroadcast over the period of time.
You use other platforms or networks to be able to facilitate your outreach.
Yes.
I often hear you talk a little bit about New York.
Right.
What am I missing here? Or
Correct.
what do I don't know?
Okay. So Love and Inspiration premiered on the then former Bashani Radio back in March 2019. Sorry about that. In 2019. And over the period of years, and now in its 7th year, Love and Inspiration has had a place on, is now called Vanoy Radio. And it's really only the interviews that are aired on this radio app, which is on various platforms like Spotify, Google Play, etc. And from New York straight as far as Dubai. So I'm grateful for the opportunity that opened back in March 2019 through Michael Muse, who was the producer for making sure my show is on that platform, and also the CEO of Vanoy Radio, Mr. Benny Randall Jr. He's also been a few times a guest on my show, and he believed in Love and Inspiration. He said from day one he knew Love and Inspiration was a hot radio show. He listens to it among other radio shows. Even his daughter, who's now 19 years old, when she was about 15 or so, she said to him, "Daddy, why is that man always talking about food? Is he a chef?" Because I was talking about my wife's cooking. So I'm grateful to Vanoy Radio. I'm going to be returning with new episodes on Vanoy Radio in this year. But also, too, I'm very grateful to Andre Hui. And Andre Hui is the CEO of Voice of the Caribbean, which he has the Jive radio show just after my show on a Sunday. And he's been an amazing partner in media since 2016. So this year, Love and Inspiration celebrates 10 years on Voice of the Caribbean, which can be heard on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. and on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. on Voice of the Caribbean, going out to St. Kitts and Nevis and the diaspora and around the world. So, I make sure that Love and Inspiration on different platforms, and then this year I'm going to be expanding a bit on some other platforms. So that's in the works right now. But I give God thanks. And again, like I had mentioned before, Love and Inspiration is part of a global movement, the Love and Inspiration Global Movement, which is about spreading love, hope, peace, and inspiration in our homes, communities, and workplaces, which birthed then back in 2020, the Love and Inspiration calendar, and 2021, I Inspire Where. And then just in October 2025, the birth of Love and Inspiration Travels, because a lot of people like to travel, and that's what was birthed. So if you're looking for going on a vacation or a cruise, Wendell, check out Love and Inspiration Travels.
I wonder if there's anything left, because you actually answered my very next question, which would have been what the future looks like for Love and Inspiration. We mentioned at the top that things might have changed over time as far as the initial start of Love and Inspiration, which may not change structurally, but adapted to the now technology that is available.
Yes, Love
Where
and
does
Inspiration.
the future look like?
What the future for Love and Inspiration looks like, it looks bright. I'm confident of that because I know that God is with me. And if He's given me this to manage and entrusted me, I'm going to do my best humanly to continue to manage that well. And I know He has great plans for Love and Inspiration. I've always said this, and my wife, laughs being happy with what I say about this. But I even said this on my show sometime, Wendell. I said, you never know. There might be someday Love and Inspiration resorts. There might be someday Love and Inspiration restaurants. You never know. But,
Love and Inspiration retreat.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. There you go.
I'm giving you ideas. I promise when we come back, I wanted to ask you to go back over your
Right.
your career path.
Yes.
What you first started to study, and then actually you've come full circle because of what I don't want you to include what you're actually doing now. I think at one point you were working for the government.
That's correct.
Yeah. In an area that also connects itself with being able to inspire people who are struggling with their relationships and everything else.
Correct.
So start there where your first interest was that
Okay.
led to whatever,
Okay.
so that we can see what the Roy Cotton is aside from the entertainment aspect of
Right. Okay.
Love and
So
Inspiration.
thank you for sharing that. Roy Cotton Jr., initially, when I finished high school here at St.Maarten, Milton Peters College, so I did my MAVO, and today's called TKL, and HAVO. Roy Cotton Jr. wanted to become a doctor. So there was three things in my mind: either become a doctor or a psychologist or go into business. But I felt drawn to the medical field to become a doctor. I set off to study nursing, and I did nursing in Curacao for 2 years, hence the reason I was in Curacao for 2 years, and also did radio in Curacao. And then on holidays, came back to St. Maarten, and that's when I got my break on PJD2. With that being said, I continued my studies in the Netherlands and graduated in the nursing field, went on to higher education in nursing. But I still had in my mind, I want to become a doctor, and the opportunity opened for me to go to England to study midwifery because I was fascinated with childbirth, pregnancies, etc. And when I went to university there, I did 3 years of midwifery, had the privilege to deliver quite a few babies, do my internship on gynecology, maternity day ward, etc. But God had a different plan in mind whereby he opened the door for me to go into counseling and psychology because of, like I mentioned earlier, persons always confide in me because they can trust me. And I would not tell their secrets or tell their hurts or so forth, but I would be there for them. So I recognized when that door opened that I was pretty good in psychology and pretty good in counseling persons. That's where I moved into that direction. And then I furthered my studies over in the direction for the masters over at the University of Goldsmith in London, and into a third university that specialized with working with families and couples. And then coming back to St.Maarten in 2010, I was looking for a way to connect with counselors, psychologists here, and my wife was introduced to me by my now deceased mom, Dorothy Richardson, aka Lady Rosa, who said to me, "You should go and check out Dr. Erna May at Victoria's Living Foundation on Back Street." And I said, "Okay, I'll go and check her out." And at that time, my mom then said, in one of her dreams, she said, "You're going to marry her." And I was like, "I don't know the lady. How am I going to marry her?" But it turned out that my mom was speaking the truth, and that's why I got married. And then I volunteered at Victoria's Living Foundation in 2010. And in 2011, I started working at government, Court of Guardianship, worked at Court of Guardianship from 2011 to about 2014, and was transferred to the St.Maarten Justice Academy. And then when the hurricane came in 2017, I was transferred to the Miss Laddie Center. So I was actually working with young people, as I mentioned, over at the Court of Guardianship, with those who got into problems with the law, but also doing civil cases dealing with, child abuse. Also, when persons, divorce and who gets child custody, etc. So I've always been involved in young people's lives, and then working along with my wife with Y2X, the Youth to Extreme, and empowering and encouraging and coaching young people, even on the youth radio show, Fresh with the Y2X crew. So with that all being said, I did not become a doctor, but I was in the medical field. I did not become a psychologist, but I'm a counselor, and I'm in business. And right now, one of the services that Victoria's Living Foundation offers or provides is perinatal emotional coaching. So with my experience from back then, being in the maternity, I can, once there are persons who are expecting, either maybe single moms or maybe a couple, they can connect with us for that perinatal emotional coaching to guide them and prepare them emotionally, psychologically, straight during the pregnancy. Takes a little bit of the load off of the gynecologists and midwives, and coach them during that period of time up to delivery and postnatal.
So you have come full circle.
I've come full circle, and still enjoying doing radio and doing some other good stuff.
And while doing radio, of course, you find yourself inspiring people.
Exactly.
Into whether it's better lives or better relationships.
Correct.
And if you're working with young people who've gotten themselves in trouble, they're facing a challenge. Yes. They need to be inspired to be able to overcome such a challenge.
And I forgot to mention it, which I did before, and I was an instructor at the University of St.Maarten for 2010 to 2015, 5 years.
All right. So as far as love and inspiration is concerned, there are connected wings.
Yes. To
the core of love and inspiration that would keep you gainfully occupied throughout.
Absolutely.
And going forward.
There's never a dull day, Wendell. Seriously. Me and my wife, we do take some time off and really switch off the phone and really have a lovely time. We do have some really great times together, and I give God thanks. And I know my wife is listening, so I give God thanks for you, sweetheart. And for all those supporters, I appreciate you so very much. Love and Inspiration is going to be live this Sunday. I'm going to be back after a nice, well-deserved holiday. So you're going to hear me live this Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. And I'll really pinch my skin on air so people can know, yeah, he's really here on Sunday. But I like to always make jokes, Wendell. But really, getting back serious, I really love what I do. I give God thanks for being with me over the years, and I appreciate each and every one of you as my listeners right now out there. Thank you so much for your support every Sunday, and I'm here for you to serve you to the best of my ability. God give me the strength.
19 years and counting.
19 years and counting. Next year is the big 20.
And I'm plans for that?
Let's see what happens.
You don't know yet.
Don't know yet. One day at a time. Sweet Jesus. That's all about. You know the song. Yeah. Yes. But Feeling good, and I give God thanks for every day.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of persons still ask me, "You're 20 years love and inspiration. How old are you?" Yeah, let's talk about it next time.
Why people are so reluctant to talk about
Well,
Wednesday?
well, I didn't sound reluctant, but me and you were
I
still
didn't
young.
ask you that question.
We're both two young men here.
Oh man, I'm not gonna tell you what I was gonna tell you because
Okay.
that is not even believable. But in any case,
Yes, sir.
Love and Inspiration is the new program. You identify when it's on for St.Maarten, when people can listen.
Yes, Sunday afternoons, live 3 to 5 p.m. here on 102.7 FM and online. That's pjd2radiosxm.com. Rebroadcast is on Voice of the Caribbean. You will have to go into sknnewsline.com, scroll down the page to Voice of the Caribbean, and you can listen to the rebroadcast on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. and on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. And if you want to listen to only interviews of Love and Inspiration, you can go into Vonoi Radio, that's VONOI, Vonoi Radio app in New York. And you can listen back to some of the interviews. And as I've mentioned, new episodes of Love and Inspiration will be coming this year on Vonoi Radio. Mm-hmm. And again, thank you.
Yeah. The interviews is exerted.
Yes.
From to be able to fit on that platform.
Correct. From the main broadcast.
Instead of the whole.
Correct. Because on Sundays
show.
it's 2 hours,
yeah.
and on Voice of the Caribbean it's 2 hours, but there it's just 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if persons would like to reach out to me, can I give a number?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Why not?
My WhatsApp number is 1721-522-2084. That's 1721-522-2084. Or you can email me on inspireloveradio@gmail.com. That's inspireloveradio@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, Roy Cotton Jr., Instagram, Roy Cotton Jr., and also LinkedIn, Roy Cotton Jr. And Wendell, and to the listeners, if you're looking at traveling sometime, family, just a nice getaway, Love and Inspiration Travels. Check it out.
Oh, you're talking about you can book folks to travel.
Yes, Love and Inspiration Travels. There we go.
Yeah, so Love and Inspiration. What was the last question I had here for you? I guess that wouldn't work well. But Y2X was the extension that I was looking at when I connected Love and Inspiration with the youth.
Oh, I see.
Because I mentioned that your spouse was also involved. And I think Andre Huey also came through that.
Yeah, Andre Huey came through Y2X.
Connection.
He was the president of Y2X, the Youth to Extreme, the youth wing of Victorious Living Foundation. Mm-hmm. And for a period of time during Fresh, I coached the Y2Xers to be successful radio host on radio. So I coached them during Fresh the radio show.
All right. Well, much success in your continued
thank you
sharing of love and inspiration. You mentioned that you never heard anyone saying that they've had enough love, or they don't want to be loved today, or they don't want to be inspired today.
That's right.
Whatever you do, love and inspiration always fall into place.
That's correct.
Well, Mr. Cotton, thank you so much for sharing
You're
your
welcome.
life story and all about love and inspiration over the past 19 years with us. Hopefully, folks will understand that this is not just a one-off moment, but it has far-reaching depth where one can be really inspired.
Absolutely.
And feel loved. When it comes to what you do on a Sunday afternoon, 3 to 5.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for In the View, your Wednesday afternoon interactive talk program right here on 102.7. Thank you so very much, folks. Now you can go to finishing your stuff. Folks, when they listen to this program, don't ever want to go. I don't want to wait for the very last word. That's it for today, though. We'll see you next Wednesday at 5. An invitation is extended for you to join us then. In the meantime, you take care. Goodbye.